Hi, and welcome to Intuitive Insights. On this channel, we discuss everything to do with the ascension process. Today, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Taurus, which is happening on the 22nd or the 23rd of April, 2020, depending on where you are in the world. And this is an interesting new moon because we're going to be given sort of a preview of some of the energies that we're going to be working through as Venus goes retrograde in May, from May to June. Venus will be in retrograde, and I will be doing a video about this as well. So you can look forward to that, but you can sort of use this video as sort of a jumping off point, if you will, for some of the energies that we can look forward to possibly working through as we move into that. And the reason that we're talking about Venus right now is because we're talking about Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. Interestingly enough, when we had the full moon in Libra, that moon was also ruled by Venus, as Libra is ruled by Venus as well. So a lot of Venusian energy that we've had going on. And so, yeah, like what is Venus's energy? Venus is the planet of relationship and partnership. She's the planet of beauty and pleasure and creativity and all of the stuff that makes life juicy and fun. And so Taurus, being ruled by Venus, is a sign that is very much about these things. Taurus is very much about comfort. It's about pleasure. It's the earthiest and the most sensual of all the zodiac signs, right? And so Taurus enjoys being comfortable. Taurus enjoys doing what Taurus wants to do in the time that Taurus wants to do it. And so that's kind of the energy that we're going to be feeling during this new moon. Now, a new moon is when the sun and the moon are both conjunct. And so conjunct means that they're pretty much on top of each other. So it's a melding of the energies, right? And so this is a melding of the two polarities or dualities of ourselves. So, the masculine and the feminine, the logic and the emotion, all of those things, right? And so we have the conscious and the subconscious, right? These different aspects of ourselves are very in tune and very in agreement during the new moon energy, during this conjunction energy. And so like emotionally and consciously, we are in this place of just really wanting to kind of indulge a little bit, wanting what we want when we want it, basically. And just really getting a firm understanding of what it is that we do want. We're not going to be interested really in doing things that we don't feel like doing and spending time around people we don't feel like spending time around. Like, it's going to be very much a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? We're going to be getting very in touch with our desires and our wants and the things that bring us enjoyment in our lives. Taurus is very much about comfort and security and stability, right? It's a fixed sign. So we're looking, and Taurus, like the journey of Taurus is finding peace and contentment, right? Learning how to be still, learning how to find that still center within. And so what we're really going to be asked to look at is like, what is it that brings me peace? And, finding that peace and seeking out that peace and seeking out that enjoyment of life. And what is it that makes life worth living, right? What is it that I value? And this doesn't mean just money, although Taurus is a sign that's very closely associated with money. But anything that we value. It's, looking at the value that we hold within ourselves and how that is reflected outwards in our reality. It's looking at our relationships and, what relationships do we value? What do we value about them? What relationships bring value to our lives and what relationships don't? And so, yeah, we have that energy going on. We have those questions that we're asking ourselves, and we're asking them even more deeply because the moon and the sun are conjunct Uranus during this. Uranus is in Taurus as well. So they're conjunct Uranus during this new moon. And so Uranus is the planet of rebellion. It's the planet that seeks freedom of expression, freedom of being. It's a very independent energy. It's that, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So we think like a little bit of that Aquarian energy, right? And so we are really really feeling this, like this entitlement to be who we want to be and to live our lives the way that we want to live our lives, and to have those lives be comfortable and and feel stable, like feel emotionally stable, feel physically stable, and, just really, live a life that reflects our values. That's going to be really, really important to us. And, that's going to be really important to us. And so we have this energy going on, and then we have a square being made to Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, who are all within a few degrees of each other still. The square is more exact to Saturn, but they're all in the same ballpark. So the way that I see it is it's sort of like these two sets of energies, right? So we have the Sun, the Moon, and Uranus, and then we have Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. And so Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter, if we had to pick one energy to sum up the entire year of 2020, it would be that energy. And there's an entire video on this conjunction. If you're interested, go look that up. All the videos are logged into playlists now, so you can check. There's an astrology playlist, and so we do a video on this. And it's the prevailing energy of 2020, which is the energy that is getting us to look at what we believe in, our ideals, our belief systems, what matters to us, and how we stand up for what matters to us, and how the structures in our lives either support that or don't. And so it's this new us that's being birthed, right, through this process of the energies of Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto all sort of coalescing together. And so we also see during this new moon sort of a conflict between our sense of security and our sense of comfort, and the sense of the known and the unknown, and sort of this new us that's being birthed, right? And so there's this sort of tug of war between these two energies in a way. And so squares are not necessarily an unpleasant aspect, they're a challenging aspect. So what this energy is doing is it's challenging us to look at things that we may not want to look at. It's challenging us to ask ourselves other questions. Like the main question of the Taurus energy by itself is like, what brings me peace and what brings me contentment, right? What do I value? And so that's also a question being asked by Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, but it's also asking us like, okay, so this is the comfort zone right here, but like, where are you willing to step out of your comfort zone and the sense of fulfillment that brings you in order to embrace this deeper sense of fulfillment that's waiting for you? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice, right? And so this is an energy that Taurus is very familiar with. Taurus is very strategic and is very methodical when it comes to these types of decisions. Like Taurus doesn't spend money, once again, the word's escaping me, but you know what I mean. Taurus is very intentional about how it spends its money. It really understands the value of everything, and it acts accordingly to that value. So when we're in this energy of Taurus, we're not going to be willing to sacrifice for just anything. But the things that are worth sacrificing for, the things that are worth going after, Taurus will move mountains to get near. Taurus will move mountains to achieve those things. And so that's the energy that we're looking at, is like, what are those things that are worth moving mountains for? And am I ready to do that? And so we're in this place with that, and it's sort of, we may not necessarily want to look at that. We may just be feeling a bit of a conflict between the old self and the new self, and just really not sure if we're ready to leap, and if we're ready to possibly sacrifice what we have for what we could have. And so really figuring out where that line is for us is going to be an energy that we're going to be experiencing during this new moon. It's definitely a time where we want to be careful because of that influence of Uranus in there. We may be a bit more stubborn than usual. We may spend, like Taurus, as I said, isn't typically a sign that spends frivolously, but with the influence of Uranus, that may be something that we do. We may want to splurge in areas of finance. We may want to make, split-second decisions based on sort of the seeking of the things that will bring us pleasure in the moment. And this could be sort of a knee-jerk reaction to not wanting to look at the energies being reflected and sort of interacted with from the Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter energy. But, we don't really want to do that. We want to, if we can, just really sink into that energy and ask ourselves those profound questions. Like, what does bring me peace? What does bring me fulfillment? Like, what deeper levels of fulfillment am I ready to reach and strive for? And like, what am I willing to do to achieve those things? And so those are key questions. We have another interesting energy going on as well during this, and that is the energy of Venus, which is, as I said, the ruler of this new moon, being that she rules Taurus. Venus in Gemini, who is trine Mars in Aquarius. And Mars in Aquarius is sextile Mercury in Aries. And so the Mars-Mercury conversation basically just means that, there's a lot of, it can bring forth, well, actually the whole triumvirate, really, because Gemini is a very cerebral, it's an air sign, right? As is Aquarius. And then we have like that fire of Aries, who is that very fierce, bold, also assertive and very individualized, like, I won't say self-centered, but very much about the self, right? So we have this energy that's very much about the self, and we have this energy that's very explorative and very, very willing to speak its truth. Aquarius and Aries are not signs that mince the truth. Gemini is very charming, and Gemini knows how to sort of flirt around things and say what needs to be heard in order to, smooth out a situation or, what have you. All right. But Aquarius and Aries don't play like that. So this energy, especially with Aries being the mental energy, is very much an energy that's going to lead people to speak a lot and to really speak what's on their minds and what's in their hearts. And so we want to be careful with communication, especially where we're in this place that's very much centered around the self and the needs of the self. So yeah, we want to tread lightly where that's concerned. It's definitely because we're getting this glimpse into our priorities. It can be a beneficial energy to have conversations. However, like we want to be careful how we say the things that we say in this energy. And we also, honestly, my recommendation would be to spend this day either alone with yourself or with people who are like-minded, because that's going to be who we're drawn to during this energy. We're going to be drawn to, so Aquarius is about the collective. It's about the groups and organizations, right? It's about the people that we vibe with. It's about our tribe. So Mars, which dictates our desires, right? Our drive, our ambition. Mars is in this energy. Mars is looking for like-minded individuals, for people who have the same goals and are moving in the same direction in life. And Venus in Gemini is looking for just all kinds of interaction. Venus in Gemini is, explorative. It wants to meet lots of people. It wants to have lots of conversations. It wants to expand the mind. We're going to be very much drawn to people, not only who have the same goals and aspirations, but people who stimulate us intellectually, especially with the Mercury and Aries, adding its energy to Mars, and then Mars having this interaction with Venus. Like, we're going to be looking for people who stimulate our minds, who get us thinking, who we vibe with on that level. And so anyone who's not stimulating to us, who doesn't have similar dreams and focus and goals and ambitions, anyone who we don't connect with on an intellectual and on a mental level, is really not going to be doing it for us right now. We're not going to be wanting to spend time with them. We're not going to be wanting to have conversations. Like, that's not our comfort zone right now. Like, that's not where we want to sink into. That's not what's bringing us that pleasure and that enjoyment, right? That's not what's fueling and sparking and inspiring our creativity. And that's what we're interested in. And so it's definitely going to show us, like, who it is that we are vibing with and who it is that we're not. And that's going to be something that I think, an energy also that's going to be playing out as we go into this Venus retrograde, and we look at our relationships, we look at our partnerships, we look at our friendships, we look at the people that we have in our lives, and we look at, whether they're going in the direction that we're going or not. And, this energy was also, we experienced during the full moon as well. I mean, it's all linked together. We've been feeling this for a really long time. And so it's bringing up all of that stuff. It's bringing up, all of the deepest desires of our soul, right? Because that's what we want, to be able to express ourselves. We want to be seen, and we want to be heard. And we want to, that's the kind of comfort zone that we're getting ready to step into right now. And so there may be other aspects of our lives that were comfortable for us, that we're still hesitant. We don't know if we're willing to give up for this new level of comfort, which is like the stimulation and the elation that comes with this new journey that we're beginning to undertake. So we may be feeling that, like, oh, I don't know what to do right now. Like, I don't know, like, if it's worth it to just sink, because that's the trap that Taurus energy can fall into, is just becoming stagnant and achieving that sense of security and stability, and just mistaking that for peace. But simply having security is not the same as having peace. Peace comes from within, and peace also comes from being able to fully express who we are and be fully appreciated for who we are. I mean, for some people, maybe not for all people. Maybe for some people it is way simpler than that. I guess that's the question that we're all asking and trying to answer right now. And so those are the energies that we're going to be experiencing with this new moon. And with that, we're going to pull some cards and just see what the cards have to say about all of this. And so we're going to start with the Moonology deck, because this is always a good one when we're talking about the moons. And so what are we dealing with? What energies are we experiencing during this new moon? During this new moon in Taurus. Okay, that was... Any other energies? Okay. Well, these cards are talking today. All right. Oh, wow. All right. Yep. Anything else? Let's be very clear here if you want to. That wanted to come out too. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is all about... This is all about love, honey. A lot of this is I mean, there's just, you can't say it any other way. I mean, the cards don't lie. So it says, believe in the impossible, blue moon. And so this card is, the blue moon is the once in a lifetime opportunity, right? Like the chance that doesn't typically present itself more than once, the opportunity that you want to seize. And so, yeah, and it's believing in the impossible too, right? So it's like, yeah, believing like Kayla and I like to say, right, all possibilities are possible. And like every decision that we make, right, and this is, we're getting a little we're going into the rabbit hole a little bit here, right, but every time we make a decision, a separate reality is created where we made the opposite decision, right, or any other decision that we could have made. And like our focus is in the reality, the timeline of the decision that we consciously made, but all those other realities still exist. And so that's when we talk about shifting our timelines, right? Is like we can shift back into one of those other timelines depending on the decisions that we make. And that's always possible. And so now I'm feeling also with this blue moon card, it's like there may be an opportunity that you thought was once in a lifetime that is, I mean, that may be a misperception. That may be a misperception. This person, this whatever this is a once in a lifetime person, but that doesn't mean that opportunity no longer exists. In another timeline, it is still existing. And so it's just about anything is possible. You can merge back into any timeline. And this doesn't have to just be with a relationship. This could be an opportunity that you thought that you had, that you missed, that you thought you missed out on. Maybe you just needed to do a little bit more growing, and maybe there were other things that you needed to achieve first in order to really appreciate that opportunity. And you went through those lessons and experienced all of that to become ready. And now you are in that process of becoming ready. And so it's saying, believe in the impossible. Know that whatever it is that is this deepest desire of your heart, which is what this new moon is all about, is revealing to us, like that is within your reach and that is within your grasp. Like you just have to believe that it's possible. And then we have a personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. So yeah, it's whatever issues you may have been dealing with, like those are coming to a resolution. Like the divine is working on your behalf. The divine is always working on your behalf. And there will be a solution that is beneficial for all. It's not, it's not this idea that we have that, if one person is happy, then another person is missing out or something like that. Like it's not like that. Everything is always beneficial to all of us. We're all learning different lessons, and we're all growing and learning through different experiences. And all of those experiences are beautiful. And as long as everybody is getting and receiving the wisdom and the lessons that they're meant to learn, as long as we're clearing our karma and we're progressing and we're growing spiritually, like it's a win-win for everyone. And so it's, like whatever issues it is that you're grappling with, like whatever it feels like is holding you back, or just seems like there's no way that anything constructive is going to be able to come out of it, and there's no solution that's going to present itself where everyone can benefit, like it will, and it can, and it's coming. And so, yeah, that's wrapping up. And then we have a new romantic cycle begins. So we close out the old romantic cycle. We close out those lessons. We come to those resolutions, and then we move into a whole new cycle. And so that's the new moon in Libra, which is funny because we just had the full moon in Libra, right? And so, yeah, it's, it's the balance, it's the scales. It's once again that energy of like everyone can win, like, that was what I was trying to vocalize, was the idea of like, if there's a winner, there has to be a loser. Like, that's not true. Nobody loses. Everybody wins. And so this new cycle, this new cycle is coming, whatever that means. Once we learn the lessons that we were meant to learn from the old cycle, we're able to step into the new cycle. And, it's just about closing those things out, not just closing those things out physically, but like closing those things out emotionally and spiritually as well, on an energetic level. And how we do that is, by accepting, surrendering, understanding, and forgiving. Forgiveness is huge. Forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, understanding that everything is a gift and an opportunity. Even the most painful experiences are gifts and opportunities. And like, aren't we so fortunate to have experienced those, And so it's a new cycle, however that comes. It's a new cycle with a new person, a new cycle with the same person, maybe. Just a fresh cycle, a cycle that didn't seem possible before. Believe in the impossible, like a cycle that's fresh and new in the sense that it feels fresh and new. The energy is not the same. The energy is rejuvenated. There's new life, breathed into it. So that kind of thing. New lessons, new experiences. And then we have the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. So, yeah, that just plays off of a personal issue reaches resolution. Like, we may not always understand. That's why we have to believe in the impossible, right? Like, because it seems like there's no way, right? And so we just have to trust that we're going to know and we're going to understand what to do when the time comes, and that the doors are going to be opened when it's time for those doors to be opened. And the time for those doors to be opened is when we're actually ready to walk through them. The doors aren't going to open before then, because what's the point if we're just going to stand there? Like, we have to be willing to walk into the room. And so when we're ready for that, then those doors will be open. Those answers are coming. So it's just like taking care of what we need to take care of, and just knowing that like what we don't know for a reason, and we will know it when we need to know it, essentially. And then we have your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn. So yeah, I mean, you've been putting in work. You've been working really, really hard at things. You've been trying, your efforts have been recognized, and like it will pay off in the end. Like sometimes it seems like we're just toiling away and we're getting no recognition for it. And it's just like, what the fuck, right? But that hard work is paying off, and the fruits of our labors will be realized. So it's just trusting in that and knowing. And that brings me back again to the metaphor that we've used lately about, planting the seed, and how like we have to water it, but like it doesn't grow overnight. And however many times we check it isn't going to make it grow any faster. But like if we put in the work, and if we continue to water it, and if it receives that sunlight and everything that it needs to grow, like it will grow. And the magic of that process happens underneath the ground. Like we can't see that. That's why once again it's believing in the impossible. Trusting. Like we don't see most of the magic that's happening because it happens in the dark. And then all of a sudden you come out one day and it's sprouting. And so that's what it is. It's the hard work is paying off. It's just we don't get to understand, and we don't get to see all of that process, right? So sometimes it feels like it's not. And meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. So yeah, meditation, the answers that you need, they'll come when you're ready to receive them, but they'll also come through meditation and contemplation. I mean, that's the best and the most successful and the most efficient way to receive your answers, is to meditate. Maybe, easy on the contemplate. I think, for a lot of us, it's like we do a lot of contemplation. So like, let's stick heavy on the meditation, light on the contemplation. Let's go with that. All right. So this was the moon cards. And then we are going to, all right. Yeah. My eye got drawn over here. So we'll go for a mystical shaman oracle. It's always nice to get one of these babies. Clear. New moon in Taurus. Any cards for the new moon in Taurus? New moon in Taurus. Okay. So the arrow. The arrow is all about focused intention. We talk about this sometimes too, right? Like when you go to launch an arrow, you have to pull the bow back, right? So it's like that whole process, like we were talking about with the seed, right? With, putting in the work, is like all the magic that happens in that space of silence before it's released, right? And this is a card, I believe, that is very much about receiving the things that we're asking for. Receiving this symbol reminds you that you are in alignment with your heart and soul. You are on target and will soon be hitting your mark. Be true to your calling, release attachments, and free yourself from the bondage of unbridled ambition. Now is revealed to be a moment of contact in which your intention meets the material world. The arrow also symbolizes the need to set your creativity free, which has been coming up a lot lately as well. When the arrow zings through the air, it is inviting you to pay attention and signifying that you are about to make your mark in some aspect of your life. It illuminates the moment of contact when you know that your desires and intentions have traveled on the wind and landed in the perfect place for your highest good. Trust that your job is to be relaxed yet focused, keeping your eye on the prize, yet releasing your intention with full expectation that it will land as it is supposed to. Don't worry about the how or the exact form. This is not a time to interfere with the manner in which the arrow flies. It will make its mark and you will have cause to celebrate. Yeah, so this is, your manifestation game is on point. You will be receiving the things that you are manifesting. It is in the works. It's that magic, right? In that null, that void, right? in between when we set the intention and then we release it, right? And that's our only job. Once we set that intention and we release it into the universe, that's when we step back and we allow what's going to happen. We allow the universe to step in and do what it needs to do. And so it's, staying aligned and staying centered and staying true to your vibration and your intention, but also not agonizing over it and just trusting that it is on its way to you. And then we have the giveaway, number 23. And so this is a beautiful card. I mean, this reminds me of like some beautiful Venusian energy as well. I mean, just look at that. It's like she's holding, it's hard to see. I know my glare is terrible. I'm sorry. But she's holding she could be holding Venus. I don't know. This could be Aphrodite. I mean, right? And so, yeah, she's got this whole world in her palms and she's offering it up, right? This is everything that you ever wanted is being offered to you. Are you willing to take it? That's the question that is coming to mind. Are you willing to take it? Are you willing to take it? And that, of course, leads right into the luminous warrior. And so we'll get into that energy in just a second, but be the warrior, right? And this is beautiful too, actually, because we have this beautiful feminine and masculine energies here, right? So we have this beautiful ethereal goddess, and then we have this like really strong male warrior energy, right? So it's like that divine masculine warrior energy is like, yes, I mean, he stands strong in his integrity, in his vision, in his focus, and he's just absolutely fearless. And so the combination of these two energies together is just absolutely, I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah. This is like divine feminine, divine masculine energy right there. Yeah, so let's see what it has to say about the giveaway, but that's what I'm seeing here. Somebody trying to manifest their feminine or their masculine here, then I would say it's probably working. It says, the giveaway is the gift you offer to life without attachment, without expecting anything back. You can only give what is truly yours: a smile, a nod of encouragement, a gentle touch, and a kind word. This is not giving to others what you no longer want, like the sweater that no longer fits, but gifting that which is most precious, your authentic love and genuine feelings. All right, so this is also bringing up to me what we talk about all the time, right? So totally unrelated, but not, right, is like giving and receiving, and how it's the same thing. And when we give, we receive, and this, we always go into this motion, right? Because it's like they are one and the same, and one opens us up to more of the other. The more we give, the more we're able to receive. And so this, is leading into, as we're stepping into this area of abundance and we're manifesting these things that we're wanting to manifest, it's like continuing to be in that state of giving, continuing to be in that state of gratitude. This card talks about gratitude, like, staying in that spot and anchored into that energy and being grateful, even as we are, like, we're never waiting, right? Like, we set the intention, we shoot the arrow, and then we continue to go on with our lives and we continue to live our lives. So we're never waiting for anyone or anything, right? But like in this interim, at the same time, it's like we want to stay in that energy of gratitude, being thankful for everything that we do have, right? Like, we have things that we're trying to things that we are creating and we are manifesting, but at the same time, we're so grateful for everything that we have. And so even that energy of gratitude is what multiplies everything tenfold. And so, yeah, just staying in that space, and that is, that staying in that beautiful feminine energy too, of that giving and that loving, giving kind of an energy. God, that card is just so beautiful. And then we have Luminous Warrior, 32. The Luminous Warrior has no enemies in this world or the next. He is impeccable in word and deed, like we said, integrity. He focuses on his light rather than on what hides in the dark. Since he casts no shadow, he is as radiant as the sun and can transform his most terrible enemy into his ally. His power comes not from the sword, but from speaking his truth at all costs. So right here, we're also talking about, agreements, win-win situations. The way that, he has no enemies. He transforms everyone into his ally, and he does that by acting in his integrity, by speaking his truth and by backing that up. And by being, it's that sacred masculine energy, like we were talking about, that energy that stands firm, and won't be pushed or swayed or bullied from what they know is their truth and their vision, but at the same time does that with compassion, right? That's where the masculine calls into the qualities of the feminine. Like the masculine and the feminine energies need each other. Like you cannot have a balance of one without having the other. They are the balance, right? So he calls into his feminine qualities of compassion and just speaking truth from a place of honor. And so, but speaking truth, right? Like we have to, it's so important, like we cannot be the most authentic version of ourselves if we can't speak our truth. But there's a way to do that. There's a way to do that in a beneficial way. His truth is his sword. The Luminous Warrior reminds you it is important to focus on your power, wisdom, and beauty. Do not be seduced by what seems wrong with you or with the world. Remember that intention follows attention. So focus on your positive traits. Feed your light with more light until you feel truly empowered. Then there will be little need for action as you resolve all situations from within. Intention follows attention. Yeah. So like we talk a lot about shadow work and stuff like that on here, right? And embracing the darker parts of ourselves, or embracing those parts of ourselves that we've been afraid to look at or to show. But we don't need to wallow in that. We embrace them to bring them into the light, And so really like we want to acknowledge them and we want to send them love, but really like we want to also be focusing on who it is that we truly are, what it is that's beautiful about us, seeing the best in ourselves just as we would see the best in others, and so this is a key energy, always, I was going to say moving forward, but always is just learning. And it's part of that process of self-love, right? It's learning how to see the good in us. And sometimes we can practice that by, some of us are much better at seeing the good in others. So we utilize that, like what is it about this person that I can appreciate? Okay, so like, do I have those same qualities in myself? What we see in somebody else, we often have in ourselves. That like we think about that with the negative stuff, but we don't always think about that with the positive stuff. So it's just really, like we said, it's integrity, but he has confidence. He knows who he is. He knows his truth and he knows who he is, and he stands firm in that. And he knows that he is a beautiful, beautiful expression of consciousness, of source consciousness. And he walks his talk, he walks in the light, and he is a warrior for the light, right? Like we are in a spiritual battle right now. And like that's not said to be scary, but it's absolutely true. And so it's this process of owning our light, owning our power, and not in like because this is divine masculine energy. So it's not like I'm powerful and but not really knowing, like when you don't really know your power and you seek to be powerful, that's when you seek to dominate and you seek to control. And all of these things, like you force your opinions on others, try to force situations to go in your favor, because that's how that macho kind of an energy, right? Of like, I'm going to bulldoze through everybody. And that's how I show that I'm powerful. Like when we step into our divine masculinity, that's when, and I say we, because women and men, we all have a masculine and a feminine side. So, yeah, this can also, it's, unifying those energies within ourselves, right? But it's like when we know who we are and we know our true power, like we don't have to flaunt that, and we don't have to push that and force that on others. We just radiate that, and it is who we are, and we make an impact just by the magnitude of our energy, staying centered in that. When we know our power, we don't have to force it on other people, but at the same time, we are in a space where we don't allow people to force anything that's not ours onto us either. Like we know the difference between what's mine and what's yours. And we're not going to take that on. Being the luminous warrior means that I'm going to show you and I'm going to give you the opportunity to excel. I am going to give you the opportunity to step into your own power by not disempowering you. And sometimes the way I disempower you is by enabling you, or, by catering to you when I shouldn't, or by not speaking my truth because I know that you don't want to hear it. But the luminous warrior stands strong in their power, speaks their truth with compassion, but still speaks that truth and allows other people to experience their own truths. And so, yeah, it's like allowing people to have their own journey and not taking responsibility for that journey, though. Not taking responsibility. Like, it is not my responsibility to dim my light because it makes you uncomfortable. And that is so key to understand as we move forward, because there will be people that are made uncomfortable by that light and what it shines and what it reflects to them that they may not be ready to see. But that is the spiritual gift that we give each other, is allowing each other to see, is showing each other those parts of each other, and is initiating each other into these deeper levels of self-mastery that come from somebody else standing up and speaking their truth, and not necessarily accommodating us. Like we said earlier, like there's always a win-win situation, but sometimes the win-win is like you grow and I grow. And yeah, that process, it can get a little bumpy, but if we handle ourselves with integrity, it doesn't have to be a complete mess, and we can come through it stronger, and other people can come through it stronger as well. And so, yeah, as we are revealing our light, like we're going to come into situations where, others will try to assert their vibration on us, or assert their beliefs, or, have negative reactions to that. And so it's just our job to stand strong in our integrity and to stand strong in our light. And yeah, that's that. And then we got the middle world, 36. Couldn't get through a reading without me doing some type of weird humming noise. That's okay. It's my thing, I guess. It's fine. Yeah. So the middle world is this world that we live in, that we exist in right now. Like we have the upper world, which is like the cosmos, the heavens, all of that, right? And it's not like we're only living in one. We live in everything simultaneously. It's just our consciousness is here in the middle world. This is the physical world. This is what we experience. And then we have the lower world, which is, like we said, like the underworld, our shadow, the darker parts of ourselves. It's also where we can find the wisdom of our ancestors, where we can find the hidden wisdom that comes from searching and embracing and coming to understand those darker parts of ourselves, right? And then we bridge that knowledge that we gain from the underworld and the upper world in the middle world. The middle world is this old earth that we are vibrating out of, and it is this new earth that we're creating at the same time. Except the new earth really, I think, will be a conglomeration of all three. It's like all three worlds in one. We have all the wisdom from the lower world. We have all the light from the upper world. And we're just like experiencing that and radiating that in this new middle world that we're creating. I can bring everything around to the new earth. I'm really good at that. But this card says the middle world is the realm of the day-to-day reality and the playground of the living. It is the present moment where everything is happening. Yet the middle world is created by the future, not only the past, and it is a mirror of the invisible realms. When things are right in the middle world, heaven and earth support everything. When they are not right, heaven and earth must be brought into order as well. The middle world shows up when conditions are favorable to your undertaking. Do not hesitate. Move forward as heaven and earth are smiling upon you. The time is right, so be expedient, but mindful of not being reckless. The world is your playground, and what would require great effort at any other time can be accomplished with ease right now. So this is just ending with more confirmation that everything that is manifesting as it is meant to. And, it's not getting caught up in that energy of Uranus, of that reckless kind of energy of wanting everything right now, but taking that slow and steady Taurus approach, right? But really taking those steps, looking at, okay, so what is it that I've decided is worth going that extra distance for? What is worth stepping out of my comfort zone for? What sacrifices am I willing to make in order to have this thing this different thing that I've been wanting to create, that I'm ready to create, that's calling forth to be birthed into the world. And just taking those steps, and allowing ourselves to be guided, right? Allowing ourselves to be guided and allowing the universe to assist, because the universe is absolutely assisting in the manifesting of whatever it is that we're trying to create right now. And then, I mean, that's really it as far as that goes. This is all about taking bold action too. Success is assured. It's the same shit. It's all the same shit. Even if you must face tests and challenges to reach your destination, all will be well. All will be well. Everything's working. The universe is conspiring in your favor, basically, is what we got going on there. So, I mean, this was a super positive reading for the new moon, I mean, we're looking at things that may be uncomfortable to look at if we haven't allowed ourselves to acknowledge what it is that we really want and we really desire, and we're really willing to go that extra mile for. And we may, at least over the next few days, be stuck in that place where we're not really trying to shift too much out of our comfort zone. But I think all of those deep desires, like we were talking about, for our tribe and for those people that stimulate our minds and that are on the same path of awakening that we are, and have these same goals and ambitions, and that really light that fire within us, like those interactions, those experiences, our desire for that is going to allow us to move out of that comfort zone. And the time is right to take the actions that we're guided to take. And, I mean, don't worry about it though. If you guys aren't ready yet, we got the whole Venus retrograde coming up that's really going to put things in perspective. So if there is any confusion, by the time we get out of June, man, it's all going to be clear. It's all going to be clear. So I just buckle your seatbelts, guys. I mean, this is, it's all beautiful. It's all so intense, but it's all so spectacular. And it's just about embracing this journey and just allowing ourselves to, allowing ourselves to live the life of our wildest dreams. Allowing ourselves, what is it that brings me peace? What is it that I value? What is it that causes my soul to sing? And am I willing to let my soul sing that song? So if you liked this video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to catch more videos, please subscribe. When you do, hit the little bell with the little squigglies coming off of it. That will notify you when we put out more videos. Please definitely as well check out, I did a video on Belvaspata, which is the energy healing that I do. It's such a beautiful and profound and gentle method of healing. It works with the angelic realms. It works with rays of light and frequency and emotion. I absolutely love doing it. I do it remotely. I can send it to you anywhere in the world. I have a video where I talk about what it is, and I'm doing a giveaway. I probably should have led with that. I'm doing a giveaway, 3 sessions. So check out that video for information on how to enter that giveaway. It's going on until the 25th. And good luck to all of you. I love you. Peace be with you. Worst comes to worst for this new moon, just go take some time alone, grab a book, grab some candles, meditate, draw yourself a bath, just spoil yourself and enjoy the luxury. Like Taurus loves luxury. Believe me, I know, I am one. It's just allow that luxurious feeling to take hold, and just pamper yourself a little bit, and be kind to yourself, and be gentle with yourself. But above all, be honest with yourself. This energy is calling for us to be honest. Be honest with yourself, and just do what speaks to your heart. Do what speaks to your soul. Take this time to allow your soul to speak to you. And you all have a wonderful night.